rituals as well. It is constantly said that homosexual people like gays and lesbians will burn in the afterlife. That doesn't make much sense to me because it's related to the body's hormones. If we believe that everything comes from a creator, then this is something that comes from the creator.
This topic is not described in detail. It may be that we don't know much about it. Do you know what Islam says about it?
For example, adultery being a sin. Do you think adultery is a sin? Right now we're in the city. I know exactly what will go down in this suburb tonight. Do you think the creator couldn't think of these things happening?
Is it okay if we share this on YouTube?
No problem.
Are you studying or working?
I am both studying and working.
What is your religious belief, or do you have one?
You could say I'm closest to deism because I believe that nothing could happen without a creator. I've performed all the religious rituals as well. I've experienced everything because I think it's necessary to experience everything in life with its ups and downs.
May I ask you a few questions about your beliefs, assuming that you're a deist? Here are a few questions. Imagine you drew a picture using all the colors in the world and you invited people here to explain these colors to them. In such a meeting, would you place lighting in the space to show the colors of your work, or would you leave it in the dark so the colors aren't seen?
Of course, I'd light it up.
Otherwise, is there a purpose for the colors if they're not seen?
No.
No. Just like this example, the creator that we believe in arranged the universe as a colorful place. Apart from just painting, he created living creatures. We can see what a colorful place it is, even if we just look at humans, the way they can talk and how they are alive. Or when we think of the hundreds of thousands of animal and plant species, we can find meaning in everything. Now, does it make sense to create this colorful universe and not illuminate it with the light of prophets and let the colors be left in the dark? Isn't it necessary to enlighten the meaning of the universe for the people who can think and comprehend, just like we illuminated the painting when we used a color?
Let me say this. If the creator is creating a place or something, wouldn't it be more joyful if people discovered his creations without guidance? Rather than him describing everything to people? If he explains, everyone can believe. Even though it's explained in today's world, nobody believes it. Why not? Because a lot of people do not believe. That's a completely separate issue.
But I need to say that because everyone has their own interpretation, it may be difficult to be understood. It may even be interpreted the opposite way. Let's say you open an antique store and you're displaying lots of historical artifacts. People are coming to visit. Imagine you have an antique worth $5 million. And if we don't tell people that it is an antique, they may think this is such an old piece. It's probably only worth $5 and pay $5 for it. Is that true?
Yes, very true.
But if there was a guy, they would say this and warn people, this is not worth $5, it is worth $5 million. Be aware. Just as in this example, billions of people have been sent to the universe, each of them has their own perspective. The light of the prophecy is necessary to say, look, all that you see is not meaningless. This is not worth $5, and it is worth $5 million. Or your body is not a pointless creature or a result of a coincidence. You are worthy.
Yes, for sure.
Otherwise, everybody would interpret it as they wish, and the meaning would not be understood.
So what do you think about this? Many things in today's world make us wonder, how valid is this? For instance, it is constantly said that homosexual people, like gays and lesbians, will burn in the afterlife. That doesn't make much sense to me, because it is related to the body's hormones. If we believe that everything comes from a creator, then this is something that comes from the creator. I mean, those people aren't attracted to men or women intentionally. It is related to their hormones and feelings. Thus, I believe religions are a little off on some topics.
Here's the main thing, though. This topic is not described in detail. It may be that we don't know much about it. Do you know what Islam says about homosexuality? Islam doesn't declare them non-Muslim. Islam doesn't say they are infidels or they've left Islam. First of all, did you know about that?
No.
Islam doesn't say they have abandoned religion. It may be the opinion of people, but we must look at what Islam is saying. What does the book say? They're not seen as abandoning the religion because the feelings people have are their challenge. For example, someone is attracted to the opposite sex. A man is attracted to a woman. Islam says that you cannot be intimate with that person before marriage. So this is a rule. It is a test for humans. Moreover, if a person is attracted to the same sex, a girl to another girl or a man to another man, this is how they feel. And this is a test for them as well. Islam says you shouldn't get close to them. You see, first it establishes a rule between a man and a woman, saying you should restrain your feelings. This is your test. Then it says the same thing to the other people who have feelings for the same sex. You should restrain this feeling. This is your test. A person is not punished because they have those feelings. They're not seen as leaving the religion either. A person may have some other feelings too. For instance, some people have an urge to steal. Some say, I have this urge, I cannot stop stealing.
There are many people like that, although they're rich.
So Islam establishes a rule for that too. It says you may have this urge, but the important thing in this test is that you take control over it. And some people say, I have the urge to harm someone. Harming is like breaking things down or hurting people. People might have these urges too.
Yes, for sure.
But Islam brings an order to this. It says, no, you shouldn't do this. You should control yourself. So it means that the issues Islam is talking about is a test of self-control over one's urges. Or let's think of a married person. Can they cheat on their spouse by saying, I'm in love with someone else? Yes, they can. But they shouldn't. Islam says you cannot act on it just because you are feeling that way.
It is a restraining rule, actually.
So Islam is saying that you are not banished from the religion because you have these urges. You're not sinning unless you act on it. We should see it that way. Society doesn't know much about this and can easily see people as infidels, but that's not the case.
How about adultery being a sin? Do you think adultery is a sin? A kid being born because of a man's uncontrolled desires. When they say this type of intimacy shouldn't take place without a marriage, that is actually how they think it should be. And that is why they call adultery a sin. It's not because adultery is a sin, but more because it damages societies. So do you think it would be a sin if people had adultery using contraceptives? I don't think it would be.
First of all, the concept of calling something sin or not depends on if Allah calls it a sin or not. Otherwise, one's opinions might affect things. Why is adultery a sin? Due to the distortion of a family values. Kids are growing up without a family and not knowing their parents. Because the concept of being a family is demolished. Allah brings order to this. But essentially, something is called a sin if Allah calls it forbidden.
There are a lot of people I know who had intercourse with many people before marriage, but there are no kids, and those people are married now. So why would those people be sinners because of what they did in the past?
Like I've just said, something is called a sin if Allah calls it forbidden. If we start counting the other reasons why, then we are thinking about the personal benefit to us. In short, the benefits are different from the ban. You may say some people had kids, some didn't, but we need to look at what the prohibition says instead of people's opinions. On another note, brother, the owner can do what they choose with their property. For example, this is your shirt. Can I come here and paint your shirt with my pen?
You can, but it would be inappropriate.
This is your property. If it is your property, you can do what you choose with it. Similarly, the ownership is completely Allah's because the living creatures, men, women, everything is His property. He will give orders about His property as He wishes.
So seeing those kids who do not know their parents in the destroyed family structure, He can say that these are forbidden. But a creator who knows everything after many years, in 2021, right now we're in this city. I know exactly what will be happening in this suburb tonight. Some will be drinking here and some there. Those people will be hanging out, the college students especially. When they hang out, they will be going to other people's houses as they please. Maybe they're friends or someone else's. It doesn't matter. And one day, these people will marry and start a family saying it happened and it's in the past. Do you think the Creator couldn't imagine these things happening?
What is Allah doing through the Quran? He is describing the rules. He says, this is right, that is wrong. Do this and don't do that. And of course, He knows what is going to happen. He is sending a book and giving people free will. He's specifying right and wrong. He says if you take this path, these are the benefits you will see. You will be happier in the world and at peace. The family atmosphere will be saved and you will be happy in the afterlife as well. He is describing the opposite side by saying if you do this, you will be restless as well as the others around you and you will be uncomfortable in the afterlife. So there's a test and people are informed about right and wrong. Indeed, Allah knows it all, but there must be more than one option so that the test is meaningful.
Exactly. Very good. You explain it very well.
Oh wow, the light's on. We can talk about a lot more, but which problem can we solve today that would make you say, I will be a Muslim again?
Let me say this to you, brother. No matter what you explain to me, you are human just like me. Do you know what the most important thing is? We should be able to talk here, man. You're telling me something and I am listening. I say, that's right, that's your opinion. And if I say, how can you believe in this? Then we would start talking foolishly.